Hi, everyone. My name's Allie, and I'm a product manager working on GitHub Copilot experiences for .NET developers.
And I'm Arturo Ortiz. I'm the engineering manager for the NuGet client team.
And today we're going to be walking you through some of the really cool new features that we have for package management using NuGet in GitHub Copilot. So I'm sure that you've seen at Build so far and through many outlets before the conference that LLMs are really great at a lot of different things when it comes to software development. They can streamline a lot of different aspects. Why isn't my demo? Of the software development process. Sorry. Well, going to continue what I was saying. However, due to some of the inherent nature of model training date cutoffs and what we are working with in the landscape, sometimes we need to supplement some information just that we can get some really good real-time responses from Copilot, especially when we're working with a really fast-paced ecosystem like NuGet. We're having new packages and new versions that are pushed constantly. So we want to make sure that you're getting up-to-date and real-time information in those Copilot chat responses. And the NuGet team has been working really hard to come up with a solution for this. So right now, if you were to open up GitHub Copilot chat and try to ask a question about some real-time package information. For example, what is the latest version of Serolog? Let's see what we get. So it looks like we're getting some information as of June 2024, which was last year. And it also gives you a little bit of information about how you could look up the latest version as of May 2025 if you wanted to do that yourself. But that would take you out of the flow. It would take you out of the IDE. And we really don't think that's an ideal experience. So now let's see what kind of response we would get if we try using @NuGet and ask the same question.
So here we see GitHub Copilot asking for permission to contact whatever package sources are configured as part of your machine or your solution. In our demo, we just have NuGet.org, but it can be whatever source feed you're using.
Cool. So I went ahead and accepted that and gave permission to contact real-time information from the package feed. And we're now seeing a accurate response of the latest stable version of Serolog is 4.3.0, which is really helpful. It can help us in a lot of different package management scenarios moving forward. So we've also heard from you and many others that a really common pain point for developers when managing their NuGet dependencies is resolving vulnerabilities that might occur in them. So let's take a look at this sample project that I have here. It looks like in the Solution Explorer, we're seeing a gold bar that is notifying us that we have some vulnerabilities in this project. So let's try to look into this a little bit more. I'm going to build the solution and see if we can figure out where these vulnerabilities are coming from. It looks like we're having the vulnerability in system.text.regular expressions. But the only package that we have installed directly in this solution is system.xml.xml serializer. So if I didn't know a whole lot about NuGet, I might be a little bit confused right now and might need to do a little bit of research on how I would resolve this vulnerability or fix this in my solution. But maybe I should just try the NuGet agent and see if that can help me out here. So I'm just going to type @NuGet fix vulnerabilities.
So quickly, just telling you about what's happening in the background, we partnered with Microsoft Research on a linear programming algorithm that calculates a good set of dependencies without vulnerabilities for your solution, taking into account the target framework, taking into account all the constraints that you have and all the dependencies across your entire solution.
Cool. So it looks like Copilot was able to use the NuGet agent to generate a fix for our vulnerabilities. So if we look at the CS_proj file, it looks like we're seeing a nice little diff viewer that proposes actually installing the package with the vulnerability directly. And then because Copilot also has knowledge of central package management, it's actually specifying the version in the directory .packages.props file, which is really helpful that it can understand those concepts as well. So really great to see that. I'm actually going to tab and accept those changes. And now we can see that if I go back to the Solution Explorer, if I save, that gold bar goes away and the vulnerabilities are resolved. So that's super helpful. Cool. So the last thing that I'm going to go ahead and show, I'm going to open up a different sample project for this. And we have heard also that another complication when it comes to managing NuGet dependencies in your projects is trying to figure out how to deal with multiple dependencies and updating them to the latest version. Because as I'm sure many of you know, when you have multiple dependencies and you're trying to update them, you can't just update them all exactly to the latest version because you need to try to find versions that are compatible with other dependencies in your projects and that work with your target framework. So this has been, maybe it would require a lot of research and a lot of investigation into how we should update these dependencies in the regular or old solution. But again, let's see if the NuGet agent can help us out again here. So I'm going to type @NuGet and say, update my packages to the latest version.
And here, the NuGet agent is running the same linear programming algorithm, but with different parameters to optimize for updating all the packages in your solution to the latest version.
Cool. So while this is running, take a second, but definitely would be faster than if I was researching this.
It's still going to be
manually.
faster than engineers. I've talked to teams that have spent days, if not weeks, trying to find a set of dependencies that work well with each other. So this takes care of that for you.
All right, let's see. Oh, new package versions calculated. We have a nice proposed solution. And if we look at the packages.props file, well, okay, let's see. Maybe we need to try that again. Sorry, all this is hot off the press. So let's try that again. Oh. Oh. Sorry, y'all.
Let's you do.
There we go. Sorry for that hiccup. But now if we take a look at the directory.packages.props file, we should see a diff viewer that proposes changes to update all of our dependencies to the latest version that are compatible with each other. So that just saved a whole lot of research and planning and trying to figure out what versions to update manually. So there we go.
And we're adding more functionality every day. Right now, we have it published as a Microsoft Dev Labs extension. And we'd love your feedback on, how it's working for you. So we have a QR code that we can show.
Yeah. If we go to the next file here. Yeah, please give us your feedback. And definitely try out the extension and let us know how it's working for you. But thanks everyone for joining. That's all we have for you today.
Thank you.